Welcome, everybody. Ben, how's going?
Hey, buddy.
Good to see
Good.
you. Long time no see.
Yeah, too long. Thanks for having me. It's fun. I'm sorry it's taken me so long for this to work out. I love doing this. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you, everybody else, for being here, for taking some time of your whatever it is, morning or evening, to join us and have some fun. Try to investigate some new topics, especially like topics like this one. Yesterday I was texting a little bit with Ben, and I was telling like, hey Ben, like tomorrow I guess the plan is just gonna be, let's go through the reading, let's hear from you, like how can you explain us the reading, because it's a very difficult reading. And then he said, well, I don't really understand very well either. So in a way I thought like, well, that's great, that's why we are meeting here, that's why we have this program, because we want to discuss and have these talks among friends who may help us to go deeper and understand. So get ready, we're gonna start with this beautiful topic, and please feel free to type your questions in the chat. We may be able to go through them or not, we may know the answer or not, but it's fun. It's fun when we all take part on this activity. So you all know Ben Kramer here. He's one of the Mixed Notes translators. He translated the book on Siddhanta, like analyzing the different positions on different schools and comparing between them. He's also a great yoga teacher. They have a yoga studio in New Mexico, Albuquerque. He did a 3-year silent retreat in Diamond Mountain a few years ago. He's like a wonderful family person with a wife and a beautiful son, and a very, very good person related to logic and debate. So if you have any question related to that, please. He also knows how to work with the computer amazingly. He knows all the accesses and keyboards. So thank you, Ben, for being here.
Thank you for having me on. It's great. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for keeping this thing going and growing it. And it's beautiful. And I love that this continues to happen. And is happening, that this reading club has all sorts of new health and vitality under your guidance, under your support. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful achievement, and you deserve high accolades indeed for this wonderful work you're doing, keeping people engaged and delighted in deep thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And now I just remember something about it now that you're talking about this engagement in the program and stuff. Next week, okay, let's start by the beginning. We are getting close to have a next translation course, translation term, starting in October the 1st, going through October 14. As many of you know, one of the purposes of this program is to keep having interesting activities, weekly meetings, as a part of, like, I guess I will call it like in between terms. This is like the practice in between terms. But then there's like the main events that the Mixed Note translators have. Diamond Cutter Classics has as well. And it's the translation terms, when we have like 2 full weeks of teachings. Geshe Michael goes with the translators through their own books, maybe like 5-6 hours a day. It's very intense, but it's very powerful teaching. Like, if you guys really want to go deeper, if you guys want to learn and explore the actual books, the real texts that are bringing us all this ancient wisdom, please don't miss that out. It's going to start on October the 1st again. So we have 2 weeks for that. And because of that, we are planning to have a special event, like a special reading club. Next week is not going to happen on Thursday. It's going to happen on Saturday. You will hear more about that soon. But just letting you know, this is today, Thursday, as usual, but next week on Saturday instead. So get ready. Saturday 24th, we will have a special Mixed Notes reading club. And then on October the 1st, we're starting with the translation program. So get ready, make your plans. Hope to see you there. So let's go. Because again, yeah, this text, we already had a session on this text, maybe like about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And many of us, we all agree it's like a difficult text. And that's why, in order to go deeper, it's very worth to have a second round of this. Sometimes once is not enough to really fully understand. Sometimes twice is not enough, but let's give it a chance. So what I'm gonna do, what I propose to do is first I'm gonna share the screen with the reading, and let's go through it. If of course any ideas come up, we can stop reading and talk about it, or we can finish the reading and then try to talk about it. So I'm sharing here. Okay, let me 1 second. Looking for the reading. Here it is. And then sharing the screen. Perfect. Okay. So for those of you who may be interested, Geshe Michael has a few classes that give a lot of context for this reading. One of them happened in Diamond Mountain, I think 2018, and the other one happened in Guadalajara, Mexico retreat in 2019. I will share, or if someone has them and want to share them in the chat, if not, I'll share them, the links for the videos in a moment. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, this comes from the Ship on the Sea of Emptiness. It's a commentary written by Choney Lama, and it's a commentary about another commentary that Jetson Kappa wrote about the root text of Wisdom by Arya Nagarjuna. So now we all know what are we doing here. Will you, Ben, make us the honor of beginning with the reading?
Sure.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's good.
Great.
Yeah, beautiful. Even better. Right. Sumbani, here's the third section, demonstrating finally how it would exceed the bounds of reason if anything were to embody the meanings of both terms. This is presented in the next verse. Yeah. Here we go. If the goer were going, oh no, we don't want the verse. It's so cute. We got to get, Nagarjuna's blessing on us. If the goer were going, then there would have to be two goings, one which specified the goer and the other the going. Once one was a goer. Golly, even just reading it is hard, right? And the other the going, once one was a goer. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, am I still reading? Right now, suppose, if the act of going embodied in and of itself, the meaning of both the terms goer and going. So imagine that. If the act of going in and of itself embodied the meaning of both the terms goer and goer. All right, I'm trying. Are we talking about that? Can we handle that yet? Or is
maybe a few more,
okay, good.
One or two more, it's gonna give us context, I hope.
Okay. If in that case, then there would have to be two different acts of going. First, there would be the act of going that applied to the goer and was inherent to them. And then there would have to be a second going, which was distinct from the goer.
Okay. Okay, this is the only idea that I came up with this, and I have to say, after watching the videos that I recommend to watch, it seems to me that it could be these two things. Like, in order for us to be able to call someone a goer, they have to be going. So that's one kind of going, the going that the goer does.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, how can
But
we call them a goer?
yeah, but it seems that one of them is like intrinsic, because it's like um almost, it could seem that by definition what a goer does is going. So in one hand we have the intrinsic kind of going that the goer is doing,
Yes.
but in the other hand we have like a more like independent going that that is like independent from the goer, in the sense that the goer has to do it. Like, I don't know, did you follow me or not? It's difficult to
Say the last part again. Say the last part again. Okay, so we've got the goer. In order for someone to be a goer, that there has to be a going, or you can't call them a goer, right?
Yeah.
And then what about the going that relates to going? So then
It's one, it seems to be one going that doesn't necessarily, like, one has to do with it's almost like separate to the goer, in the sense of the goer can decide to start going. Like the goer can be, I don't know, doing some other thing and then say, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. That going, like the activity independent from the person who does the activity. But there is another going, the first kind of going, who by definition has to be there in order for the subject to be called a goer.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
So here's what I was thinking. Okay. Kind of like I was thinking of it kind of like a cause and effect thing, right? Like, in order for there to be a going, okay, it like, and I don't know, I don't know how to think without debating, or I certainly don't know how to think about Nagarjuna without debating, and I think the whole thing's a debate. So is it true, Juan? God bless you. I'm sorry. Is it true that in order for there to be going, you need a goer?
Yeah, it is true. It is true. It is true.
You have to have a goer for going. I mean, I guess I could make it harder and I could say, is there such a thing as going first? And then you would say yes or no. There is such a thing as going?
Yes.
Okay, great. Going exists. All right. Everyone agrees going exists. No major complaints in the chat. No one says going doesn't exist. All right, good. If there is going, in order for there to be going, you must have a goer. Is that okay? Any complaints?
Sounds good to me.
Right. In order for there to be going, you have to have a goer. So if there's a goer, then he must be going, right?
Yes.
A goer must be going.
Yes.
So if you want to go, you need a goer. But the goer's already going, right? If you need a goer, then the goer's already going. So you can't find anyone to go unless he's already going.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
So you can't go, in order to go somewhere, you need a goer. But if someone's a goer, they're already going, and they don't need to go because they're already going. So if you wanted a new act of going, there can't ever be a new act of going. You can't have a new act of going, because if the goer isn't already going, they're not a goer.
Yeah, and that seems to be the problem.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And that seems to be the thing here. There is something very interesting you mentioned, like I like also the debate thing, because to me it's very important. What words do you choose, and in what order do you phrase them?
Yeah.
And you did mention something about there is no going that can happen.
You could never have a new act of going, something like that. Okay, for now I'm saying, I'm saying you can't have a new act of going, because if you want a new act of going, then you need a go. Anytime you want an act of going, you got to have a goer. But the goer, if someone's a goer, they're already going, or that you can't call someone a goer if they're not going.
Yeah.
That's what a
So,
goer is.
but did you say something like going is not going? Something like that?
It really, and I apologize to the translators because you making an argument like this lends itself to speaking quickly, and I think I imagine Arya Nagarjuna doing that. Okay, it's one, but it could be slow. Maybe it should be slow. Okay, but it's on the debate ground. You start talking really fast and stressing out your opponent, right?
Yeah. And I don't see any complaints in the chat. So
and that's part of the
yours,
fun.
you are in the
You're not
safe
supposed to
side.
talk really fast to. Okay, that's nice. I mean, I've gotten a lot of complaints historically, but if the language is simple, right? I'm just saying, in order for there to be going, you need a goer, right? And if you want a new act of going, you're going to need a goer to do the going. But if you have a goer, then he must be going, or she must be going, or they must be going already, or they couldn't be a goer. So where are you going to get a goer that's not going if you want to start some going? Because they better be going already, or you can't call them a goer. And so you can never go anywhere.
Yeah, it seems interesting. We're going to explore more about it. What I did find very interesting, among many other things, is that in one of the videos, Geshe Michael spends like a big part of the video explaining why in Sanskrit the title of the chapter, like Gata, Gata, I don't remember, but he's saying something like it could actually, in the Sanskrit, that the technical translation could either be both. It can be the chapter on coming and going,
Yeah,
but it could also be translated correctly as the chapter of going is not going.
oh yeah.
And he goes and explains, if you're interested in hearing this, he goes and explains like the whole Sanskrit particles and the long A's, the short A's, what happens when they combine. Yeah. So it's interesting because I think you did mention, so going is not going. That seems to be the case, but we're going to explore why.
Are we? Okay.
So let's keep reading.
Oh boy. Okay. It should be your turn, right?
Okay. Yeah. In that time, you plan your strategy.
We'll see. It's not enough time.
Okay. The one act of going which allowed us to specify, that is, to express the goer, will be the act of going which was inherent in the goer.
Yeah.
And the other act of going is the act of going which embody the meaning of the term, which expressed how someone undertook to go. Once they were the goer. This is the one which will exist in a way where it was distinct from the goer. Okay, so I don't get it, but it seems to be one that is intrinsic to the goer and one that is distinct from the goer.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what intrinsic means, right? And it, right here, can you scroll up a little bit so we can see? I don't know. Can we see the word intrinsic? Oh, I just mean in the Tibetan. Can we see even what the? And I'm not sure exactly what word it is, and I was hoping to, and but I don't know. Like the impression I get is, why is a goer inherent? Okay, why is there a going inherent in the goer? Right, and it sounds crazy when we use the word inherent, but
because of definitions, isn't it? Because the definition of okay.
Yeah,
the
great.
No, of a goer, it's someone who's going.
Yeah, because that's the Sikh dun, right? The Tsiki dun, right? It says in there towards the middle somewhere. That is the meaning of the word goer. Yeah. That's the Tsiki dun. What is it? What is the dun? Or sorry, what does the Sikh, the word goer mean? Right? It means dun. The meaning is someone who goes, right? So you can't say goer without it referring to some act of going. If you say goer, then they better be going. Okay. That's what I think is meant here when we say inherent to the goer. Now that brings up a weird question. Is that bad? Am I wrong? Like we're taught, right, in our own whatever, in our own little global community of friends here, if you use the word inherent, like what, a bucket of water falls out of the sky on your head or something. Like again, there was a TV show in the 80s called You Can't Do That on Television. Anyway, anytime someone said, I don't know, there was a bucket of green slime that would fall down on their head on the TV show. And I feel like in our friend group, right, if you say inherently, a bucket of green slime falls out of the sky on your head, and so I'm wondering, like, am I wrong, right? Like, if I say the goer's got to be going, right? Did I screw up already? Is like, should there already be a bucket of green slime on my head? Isn't that what the word means by definition, right? Ranki tseni kidrupa, established by definition, right? Isn't that what it means when I say goer? Or does it maybe not have to mean that somehow? Is it not inherent to the goer that they should be going? And boy, I hope, right, we have 40 minutes, or less to be sure by the end that we decide why the heck should anyone care. But in the meantime, right, am I naughty somehow? Am I screwed up somehow if I think that you can't say goer unless someone's going?
I guess you could be, but also you could not be. In the sense, for me, it has to do if you understand how that intrinsic quality works. Because otherwise we will never be able to communicate at all. Like, you could say to your kid, like, hey, can you pass me the keys? And he will bring you the cup, and you will say, let's go to the park, and you will end up at the doctor. Like, some parents do that, I hear. But anyway.
So words have to have inherent meaning then, right?
Yeah, at least by conventional agreement, or by the power of interdependent origination or something. Yeah. But we do have to agree. Otherwise, how can you even talk about something?
But do we agree about the definition of the word goer?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? Okay, what's a goer?
A goer is somebody or something who is undertaking the act of going.
Right. So you and anyone who is not currently undertaking the act of going is not a goer.
Yeah, I guess technically not. I mean, yeah, I agree.
You don't think that? You don't really think that?
No, I don't really think that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that we really think that. So it's like, well, how do we, like, you'd cut me slack if I said to you, like, oh, yeah, I'm a goer, I go places. You'd be like, oh, Ben, you're not going anywhere. Ha ha ha, got you, you dummy. No, you'd be like, oh, like, for example, I'm a yoga teacher, right? I don't know that I'm as good of a yoga teacher as you gave me credit for at the beginning, but I am one, in that I do it, but I'm not doing it right now. Like, you're not, and you're not mad at me. Like, people accept that because what? Like, why are you putting up with me saying that? Like, why are you letting me get away with that when you're watching me sit up here not teaching yoga? Mm-hmm. I'm asking you, you tell me, like, why is it okay?
Okay, I have an idea, and it has to do with, we studied the Master Kamalashila series a few years ago.
Yeah. And
Geshe Michael, at those days, he was talking about cocoons. Do you remember that teaching about cocoons? He used this teaching first when I remember about who connects, or what thing connects what we do in the past. And we are, like, let's say Ben Kramer on September 15 at 9 a.m. He will do something. He will plant the seed. But then, like, in I don't know, October 15, same year, like a month later, you are a different person because you are not the same that you were. So who connects the one who do the action and the one who experience the result? If they are two different persons because the time gap and, many different reasons, why can you experience the results of what the other guy did? And we could talk it even more deeply, like if we believe and agree on past lives, what's connecting you? And then he talks about cocoons in the form as ripenings, like also coming from our seeds. We create cocoons that connect us with the cause and the effect. And it's like, and nowadays I think he's calling it chocolate sauce. Now he said chocolate sauce. So I think it's because I do have the chocolate sauce to see you as a yoga teacher, even when you are not necessarily performing the action, but it's like a chocolate sauce or a cocoon who covers long period of time. But then if I didn't have that, I will be upset at you. I will be really upset and I will be calling you a liar. Yeah, you're right. Never invited to this program again. Right. So I don't know, that's my take. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you also still said, right, we have to have meanings for words, or else when I ask my kid for the keys, he would bring me the cup, right? So why does he bring me the cup? Is it because of the meaning of the word, or is it because of the chocolate sauce? Right, like what how does he know what to bring me? And by the way, like I do think, right, we have to admit that generally speaking, like I know that you sometimes, right, that I sometimes teach yoga, right? You know that I've taught yoga before. I work at a yoga studio. I'm likely to teach yoga again, right? So often we say if someone did something in the past and they're going to do it in the future, right? And then, I could say, and I say sometimes, okay, when I teach yoga, I tell people, look, guys, I'm not really a yoga teacher. You want a real yoga teacher? You got to go to my wife. She's a real yoga teacher. I'm a meditation teacher, and I'm going to make you guys jump around like a bunch of turkeys and get tired so that you will forgive me for teaching what I really want to teach. And your bodies will be exhausted. I promise you'll be sweaty. And, but I'm not really a yoga teacher. Right. And like, what, but am I? Like, I'm also communicating something by that, you see, and by saying like, well, of course I'm a yoga teacher. I taught yoga yesterday. I don't have to teach again today. I'll teach again on Friday, actually Tuesday. I taught 2 days ago, but I'm not going to teach yoga all day today. Am I a yoga teacher today? Right. And I could say, right, we could argue, like, if I think I'm not a very good yoga teacher, I could say, man, I'm not really a yoga teacher. And maybe you want to like encourage me and be like, nah, Ben, you're a yoga teacher, like in your heart, like you're a yoga. Come on, man. I believe in you. You're a yoga teacher. So it's very fuzzy what we mean when we say that, right? It seems like we do communicate a lot of different things. And in the end, right, I don't know, like what makes you see someone as a yoga teacher? By the way, you didn't bring it up, but it occurred to me to wonder, what if someone wanted to argue that I am teaching yoga right now?
Yeah, I thought about that, but I thought it will defeat the purpose of your example.
I don't think it does. I thought you might say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Are we watching TV? No. Yeah. If we is this yoga, right? Is this conversation yoga? Am I trying to teach yoga right now? I mean, it probably depends on who's looking and how they feel. And are you showing us a video?
I am pasting the
oh, good,
the link for the video. But actually, Ben, I was planning today. I thought maybe it's a good exercise. It's something new. We haven't done it before, but it may be great also for the audience to have a 10-minute video, and then we watch it and then we talk about it. Okay, what do you think?
Great. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. I'm gonna paste it here, but I'm gonna share it in the screen with you guys. So let me, yeah. Where is it now? I can find it. Here it is. Okay, just 10 minutes. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Let me know if you can hear. I think you should be able to hear.
Идти никогда не идти.
Hay que examinar cómo ir nunca va,
Now we
nunca está
reached
yendo.
the class.
Теперь мы добрались до занятия.
Okay, ready?
Готовы?
Vamos con la clase.
So I did a translation for you
Я для вас подготовил перевод
Hice una traducción para ustedes
of the last 12 pages of the second chapter.
последние 12 страниц 2 главы.
de las últimas 12 páginas del segundo capítulo.
And it's a discussion
Это обсуждение
Es una discusión
about the second going.
о втором идти.
acerca del segundo ir.
And the question is,
И вопрос следующий.
Nagarjuna's question,
Y la pregunta de Nagarjuna es,
Вопрос Нагарджуны.
this is where I confuse everybody.
И вот здесь я сейчас всех запутаю.
aquí es donde confundo a todos.
Does there have to be a second going to go?
Должно ли быть второе идти для того, чтобы идти?
¿Acaso tiene que haber un segundo ir para ir?
Does there have to be a second going to say, this guy is going?
Должно ли быть вторая ходьба для того, чтобы сказать, что этот человек идет?
¿Tiene que haber un segundo ir para poder decir, él está yendo?
And we are coming to the subject of names.
И мы с вами подошли к предмету наименований.
Y estamos llegando al tema de los nombres.
Does there have to be two goings to call somebody a goer?
Должно ли быть две ходьбы для того, чтобы назвать кого-то идущим?
Tiene que haber dos tipos de ir para llamarle a alguien el que va.
Now, first line of Choney Lama.
Первая строка Чони Ламы.
Primera línea de Choney Lama.
My discussion of this question will have two parts.
Мое обсуждение этой секции имеет две части.
Mi discusión de esta pregunta va a tener dos partes. Gracias.
First, I will prove why it's not true that there are not two goings.
Во-первых, я докажу, что это неправда, что есть две ходьбы.
Primero voy a comprobar por qué no hay dos ires, dos formas de ir.
And then I will prove why there has to be two goings. There has to be two goings.
А потом я докажу, почему должно быть две ходьбы.
Y luego voy a comprobar por qué tiene que haber dos ires, dos formas de ir.
Okay, ready?
Готовы?
¿Listos?
Okay. I'm going to prove why there has to be two goings to call somebody a goer.
Вначале я докажу, что должно быть две ходьбы, чтобы назвать кого-то идущим.
Voy a comprobar por qué tiene que haber dos ires para llamar a alguien el que va.
Then I'm going to prove why there can't be two goers to call someone, two goings to call someone a goer.
А потом я вам докажу, что не может быть две ходьбы для того, чтобы называть кого-то идущим.
Y luego voy a comprobar por qué no puede haber dos formas de ires para llamar a alguien el que va.
You ready?
¿Están
Готовы?
listos?
Peter, I need Peter.
Питер, мне нужен Питер.
Necesito a
Okay,
Peter.
we're going to use you, okay? Come on.
Мы тебя использовать будем.
Okay, we got to clear out this. You're going to stand there on the stage. Can we push this? You have to be able to walk to the other side of the stage. You guys are okay. You guys are okay. You all right? Okay. Maybe give me the clock close. Okay, now.
Теперь.
Muy bien, ahora
You're going to go from this side of the stage to that side of the stage.
ты будешь идти от с этой стороны сцены на эту сторону.
Vas a ir de este lado del escenario al otro lado del escenario.
Okay, ready? Wait, don't go yet.
Подожди еще.
Espera, no vayas aún.
Is Peter a goer right now?
Питер является идущим прямо сейчас.
¿Acaso Peter es alguien que está yendo ahorita?
No, he's not doing
Нет,
anything.
он еще ничего не делает.
No, no está haciendo nada.
Okay, he's not doing anything.
Он ничего не делает.
No está haciendo nada.
Okay, so start.
Начинай.
Go
Comienza
slow.
Медленно.
despacio.
Wait, stop.
Стоп.
Stop.
Was he a goer at the beginning?
Был ли он
I mean, in the-
идущим в начале?
¿Era alguien que estaba yendo al principio?
Before he started to move.
До того, как он начал
You okay?
двигаться.
You okay? Stay there.
Antes de que empezara a
Stay there.
moverse.
Стой.
He wasn't a goer.
Он не был идущим.
No era alguien que estaba yendo.
Then he started to move.
А потом он начал двигаться.
Luego empezó a moverse.
Then he was a goer.
Тогда он был идущим.
Entonces era
I said,
alguien
wait,
que,
come back, come
que
back.
estaba
Возвращайся.
yendo.
Start again.
De
You
nuevo.
gotta do this right.
Нужно это правильно
Tenemos que
показать.
hacerlo bien.
Start to take a step.
Значит,
Stop.
начни делать шаг,
Empieza,
остановись.
detente.
Is he a goer?
Вот сейчас идущий,
¿Es alguien que está yendo?
Those who say yes, where did he go?
те, кто говорят «да», а
Los
куда
que
он идет?
dijeron que sí, ¿a dónde fue?
He didn't go anywhere.
Он еще никуда не пошел.
No fue a
Okay.
ningún lado.
He's not a goer yet.
Он еще не идущий.
No es alguien que está yendo aún.
Okay, come on.
Давай.
Now is he a goer?
А вот сейчас он
Ahora es
идущий.
alguien que está yendo.
I mean, during that time he was
Вот
moving.
в то время,
Me
когда он
refiero
двигался.
durante el tiempo que se estaba moviendo.
Is there a beginning of his going and is there more of his going?
Есть ли начало его ходьбы и как бы еще больше его ходьбы?
¿Acaso hay un principio de su ir y más partes de su ir?
I'll ask you again.
Я вас еще раз прошу.
Les voy a preguntar otra vez.
Is there a beginning of his going?
Есть ли начало его ходьбы?
¿Hay un principio, un comienzo de su ir?
And then is there more going?
И есть ли больше ходьбы?
Y después hay más de su ir?
Wait, you guys decide, then tell us.
Вы уже определитесь.
Decidan.
Go the whole way.
До конца иди.
Peter went to the other side of the stage. Am I right?
Питер перешел на другую сторону сцены, верно?
Peter fue al otro lado del escenario, ¿verdad?
Did Peter go?
Шел ли Питер?
¿Acaso Peter fue?
Did he go the whole time or just some of the time?
Он шел все это время или какое-то время?
¿Fue todo el tiempo o solo una parte del tiempo?
All the time?
Все время?
¿Todo el tiempo?
So not at the beginning,
То есть не в начале,
Entonces no al principio,
right?
верно?
¿verdad?
So he never started to go,
То есть он никогда не начал идти,
Así que nunca comenzó a ir,
but he still reached the other side.
но он все равно достиг другой страны.
pero aún así alcanzó el otro lado.
I'll say it again.
Я еще раз скажу.
Lo voy a volver a decir.
So is the whole thing he's going?
Является ли вот все это его ходьбой?
¿Acaso todo es su ir?
Right?
Верно?
Is he going?
¿Verdad?
Он идет?
¿Está yendo?
Okay, so the start
Хорошо, начало.
is not going, right?
Это
Ok,
не ходьба, верно?
entonces el comienzo no es ir.
So he never started to go.
То есть он никогда не начинал идти,
Entonces él nunca comenzó a ir,
Right?
верно?
¿verdad?
How can you go if you never start to go?
Как он может идти, если он никогда не начинал идти?
¿Cómo puedes ir si nunca comenzaste a ir?
Your parents are still asking you this about your job.
Ваши родители все еще спрашивают вас по поводу вашей
Tus padres
работы.
te siguen preguntando esto acerca de tu trabajo.
Understand?
Понимаете?
¿Entienden?
So we can't talk about him going until he takes a pretty good step. Can we say that?
Можем ли мы сказать
Pretty
так,
good
что
step.
мы не можем о нем говорить, что он идущий до того, как он не сделает достаточно большой шаг?
No podemos decir que él está yendo hasta que haga un buen paso.
When he takes a pretty good step,
Когда он сделает достаточно хороший шаг,
Cuando hace un buen paso,
we can say Peter's a goer.
мы можем сказать Питер идущий.
podemos decir que Peter es alguien que está yendo.
Okay?
Хорошо?
¿Ok?
Right?
Верно?
¿Correcto?
Like he's not going to the bathroom.
Он не идет
I
в
mean-
туалет.
No está yendo al,
No.
al baño.
You can't say idiot toilet. You have to in the act of pee-pee. In English, to go to the bathroom means to pee-pee. To be pee-peeing.
Он не писает.
En inglés, decir ir al baño es que está haciendo del baño.
Is he pee-peeing?
Он писает.
Está
Right now.
haciendo del baño.
Huh? No, he's walking across the stage.
Нет,
No,
он
está
идет по сцене.
caminando por el escenario.
He's not right now, he's not a pee-peeer, he's a goer.
Прямо сейчас он не писатель, он идущий.
No es alguien que está haciendo del baño, no es un pipeador, es uno que está yendo.
How do you know he's not a pee-peeer?
А откуда вы знаете, что он не писающий?
¿Cómo sabes que no es un pipeador?
Okay, go back.
Иди назад.
Start.
Начинай.
Comienza.
Is he a goer or not?
Он идущий или нет?
¿Es alguien que está yendo o no?
Is he about to go?
Собирается ли он идти?
¿Está a punto de ir?
Huh?
¿Eh?
Is he beginning to go?
Начинает ли он идти?
¿Está comenzando a ir?
Exactly. Good answer.
Точно,
Buena
правильный ответ.
respuesta.
When you want a good answer, ask Chinese.
Если
Si
хотите
quieren una
хороший
buena
ответ, это
respuesta, pregúntele a la
китайский.
gente
I
de China.
said,
Я сказал,
is he beginning to go?
начинает ли он идти?
Yo dije, ¿está comenzando a ir?
And they said,
И он сказал,
Y ellos dijeron,
we don't know.
мы не знаем.
no sabemos.
Maybe he's beginning to pee-pee.
Может быть, он начинает писать.
Quizás está empezando a hacer del baño.
We need more information.
Нам нужно больше
He
информации.
has to take
Necesitamos más información.
he has to take a step.
Ему нужно сделать шаг.
Okay,
Necesita
right?
hacer un paso.
Верно?
¿Verdad?
Then we don't see anything extra coming out.
Тогда мы не видим, ничего не вытекает.
No vemos nada extra que sale.
Okay, decide he's going now.
Тогда мы решили, хорошо, он идет.
Decidan, está yendo ahorita.
Okay, he's a goer.
Он идущий.
Es alguien que está yendo.
But even according to the Chinese team,
Но даже согласно китайской команде,
Pero según el grupo de China,
he never started to go because when he started to go, we didn't have enough information to decide he's going, so we can't say he's starting to go. Good luck.
он никогда не начинал.
Okay. Now everything is clear. We don't need the session anymore. No, of course not. But it was interesting. No, what's your first thoughts about this? Let me spotlight you, and then. But you're muted.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, totally clear now. Clear as mud. You know what occurred to me is if we try to talk about a goer only existed when they're going, that even if you have a person going across the screen, right, and you say this guy's not a goer and this guy's not a goer, but this guy is a goer, then you would still have to say when, right?
Yeah.
Like at any moment you pick,
Yeah.
he's not going, right? If you pick one moment, right, no matter which moment, then then that picture is still, right? And you couldn't say that there is ever any going. In fact, you could never say that there is a moment when anything is happening. So nothing ever happens at all, ever, which hopefully is not the point, by the way, right? I mean, things do happen, right? I mean, I can still help people and be helped by people, and I can still love and be loved by people, I hope, right? Is it true? Or does this mean that I cannot love or be loved?
No. I think the first one is correct.
What do you think, Juan? Save me.
Yeah. I also thought it's very interesting because if you take the parts, like if you start dividing parts in time, you will never find the act of going. You will, because it's going like these or these or these or these, like you know, this thing of 65 pictures moment by moment. We will never find the going. So the going is not, if the going is not inside, intrinsic in any of the moments by themselves, like separate moments, how can it be in the whole thing?
Yeah. You see,
But the interesting part is that it is in the whole thing.
You see Carmen's question in the chat? Most important question in the universe.
Why do they do this?
Why are we doing this? Why? Yeah, oof. I take that to mean oof. I don't know, which is probably on oofda, which is maybe Norwegian. But what? Why? Right? Why? Like, what are we looking to establish, and what does it do for us? Right? If we don't address that, then is it just a game to make ourselves feel weird or confused? I think, right? I think the idea, Carmen, is to try to show that what makes someone a goer is the idea in your head. That if you try to prove that they're a goer perfectly, someone can always talk you out of it. If you try to prove that they're a real goer, someone could always talk you out of it, because there's no such thing as a real goer, meaning a goer that's not an idea in your head. That what makes Peter in the video a goer, what makes me a yoga teacher, is whether you think about me as a yoga teacher, whether I think about me as a yoga teacher, right? So what makes you happy? You see, what makes you loved or in love? What makes us friends here? What makes us have each other's back? What makes us on the path to bliss or not? You see, what makes hope for me in the world? What makes a divine world or a dark world? Can you prove that this world is divine? Can you prove this world is dark? There's infinite support in either way. If we wanted to make one argument either way, we could. There's a saying in the monastery, the monks say sometimes, you've mastered debate when you can prove that yopa is mepa and mepa is yopa. When you can prove that non-existence exists, or when you can prove that existence is not existent, or something like that. When you can prove those two things, kind of like when you can argue either side perfectly, then you understand. Is it a loving world? Is it a beautiful world? Do we live in a world full of love or not? Or do we live in a world full of hatred? You know, do we live in a suffering reality? Is this body good or bad? Am I good or bad? You see? And then how do we change it, right? If it's inherent in the body, right, then we change it by putting the real, I don't know, real vitamins or real nutrients or real stuff in my body to fix it. But if these are ideas in my head that make me loved or loving or lovable, right, then how do we change those ideas? By the way, it's still probably related to doing stuff. You know, we still do change ideas by doing stuff, right? Can we make people, can we feed the world by making them sandwiches? Yeah, you can. Maybe not like we think. You see, like you can make all the sandwiches you want, but that doesn't give people the teeth to eat them. You know, you can give someone a sandwich on the side of the road who needs a sandwich, but he may or may not eat it. He may or may not be able to eat it. But you keep giving people sandwiches, you keep creating abundance in the world, and you see a world full of abundance. And then who knows, maybe next week or the week after, or 3 years from now, or 7 lifetimes from now, you drive by that same spot in the road and there he is eating a sandwich that you didn't even make for him.
That's very beautiful. If you guys keep watching the video that we were watching, then actually Geshe Michael starts going to that. Like, what's the practical use of doing this? Why are we doing here?
Yeah, right.
I think it's very important because ultimately, supposedly we have been living in a mistake for a long time. For a long time. And supposedly that mistake is causing all the trouble in our lives. Like, we get sick, we get upset, we get sad, we don't have enough money, we fight with our beloved ones. And the promise of this ancient wisdom is like, yes, I know you are having a hard time, but it's only because you are making a big mistake. So if you are able to figure it out what you are doing wrong, you can do it right. Mm-hmm. And then all your problems will disappear. Mm-hmm. So by doing this, and I mean in general, but also specifically trying to understand how things actually happen, of something like daily life, like going, walking. If we can understand that, then we can use that understanding for anything else we do.
Right.
So basically, I will say, why do they do this? Because we want to be happy. We want ourselves and everybody else to be happy. And this happens to be important exercising for an important exercise for understanding what's going on and how we can do things in a right way. Yeah. Now, Geshe Michael, what he says is like, all this is so you don't get upset when you want to go to the Italian restaurant and your husband wants to go to the Japanese restaurant. And you do understand that what he thinks of the Japanese restaurant, the idea, the way he sees the the Japanese restaurant is totally different as the way as you see it.
Right.
Because we all have different images, we all have different ideas when we think about certain things. And then you don't get too upset when somebody doesn't like the music you like or the movie you like. You just understand that you have a very beautiful seed and rejoice about it, or something like that.
Yeah. Carmen says, does that mean you have to do what they want?
Like who? Who's they?
Does your husband? Do you have to go to the Japanese restaurant if that's what they want to do?
Not necessarily. I will say not necessarily. As far as you can, as far as you don't fight and argue and feel hate for each other, I think there are so many options. You can play a game like scissors, rocks, and paper, and maybe the game brings fun for both of you. And then, or you can say, okay, this time we go to the Japanese, next time we go to the Italian. I don't know, the possibilities are infinite. Doesn't mean that you always have to do what others want to do. But if you are not too attached, you could go to the Italian restaurant, to the Japanese, knowing that you're planting the seeds for 10 Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's like a game of possibilities.
Yeah, you could, maybe you have a surprise party planned for them at the Italian restaurant, or maybe maybe you just I don't know, maybe you see them they always get the wrong things at that restaurant. They like that restaurant, but they, you know, you always think they're happier. They keep saying that they want to go to the Japanese restaurant, but every time you see them at the Italian restaurant, they seem happier, and you want to protect them from their poor decisions. Maybe that's weird with your wife, you know, but I have a kid, and my kid wants to go to the wrong place all the time. You know, he wants to drink a milkshake every day, but it's going to make everybody in the house miserable if he gets that milkshake, mostly him, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, we could come up with all sorts of crazy reasons why the highest thing to do isn't to go to the Japanese restaurant. You know, motivation is a big thing. And I think there's a cool conversation going on in the world right now. I think it's a fun thing to talk about, like act in love and do your best to trust the results. Okay. Step one, act in love and do your best to trust your results. And intention is the best thing you have available to you, but it doesn't always work out. Right. And then you have to look at the impact. So there's intention and then there's impact, right? So you want them to have a nice time. If you look and you see that they don't have a nice time and you were wrong, it was still good. You still did a good thing by trying to do the right thing. You still tried to do the right thing, okay? But your work is never done. You see, learn the lesson. And if your true intention is love, you see, if your true intention is love, then you will shift and you will learn, and you will pay attention to whether or not it worked. You know, your motivation is not really enough if your motivation isn't informed by how it goes. You know, when you really love someone, when you want someone to feel well, it's not like you say, well, look, I acted in love, so I don't care how you feel. Right? That's not really acting in love. You know, when you act in love, you do care how they feel and you do your best. And then maybe you think that the best thing to do, whatever you do, act in love. I don't know if you should go to the Japanese restaurant. But if you act in line with love, and that could be like, I don't know that I am weak and I don't know that I can love you tonight with a belly full of Japanese food. And that you might be wrong about that, but you're doing your best, you know, I don't know, you're doing your best. Maybe they have nothing but sushi there, meat there, and you don't want to eat meat, you know, and you're just like, I can't do that. I don't feel well. And in the end, I believe that we will have a more loving evening if I get the food that supports me physically in my weakness, you know, to be able to be a loving person. That could be true. You know, that could be true. You have to know your limits. Be loving, learn lessons after your loving act goes the way you thought it was going to go or doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go. Keep trying to be loving.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. It's great having your point of view on these difficult subjects, but I think you have a skill ability to bring difficult things to very accessible and practical things. So it's great. Now the thing is, like, I thought a second session will be enough, but probably it's not. We only went like to the first 3 verses on the reading. But it's great. It's great. It's great. Geshe Michael sometimes takes years to take us through to like a 15-page document or something.
I think you could spend a lifetime on one verse from Arya Nagarjuna.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Carmen. Carmen's like, you know, wondering if she's the only one here. You were just the only one brave enough to speak in the chat, Carmen. It's good. Thank you. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for having me, Juan. I love it. You know, I always I like hanging out with you and chatting, whether we have an audience or not.
Great. No, very welcome. I'm very, very grateful with you and with everybody else who takes the time to come and participate. So thank you, Carmen. As Megan says, thank you for making interesting, like giving us interesting material to talk about. Thank you for the translators. We went fast at the beginning, but you were tough. You succeed. You make the world rich. Yeah. So yeah, let's just say goodbye for this week. But I want you guys to know that these sessions now are recorded. They go to YouTube. They are going as well to Spotify. You can just listen to them if you are driving or something. They are going as well now to Apple Podcast.
Good,
If
wonderful.
you use that. Yeah.
Good, smart, great.
Yeah.
Good
And
job.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. In a way, all this is possible because of the idea of a great friend. He knows a lot of computers, technician. His name is Brian Mendoza. He lives in Mexico City. He works
Good job,
for
Brian.
DCI. He encouraged me to do this, and he helped me with the know-how of how to do it. So thank you, Brian, wherever you are. And yeah, next week, remember, instead of a Thursday, it's going to happen on Saturday. Saturday 24th. You will get more information soon. Get ready for the first 2 weeks of October for the translation course. And remember, please, if you can help support this project, you can donate in the website. It's going to be really, really useful, more than what you think. So yeah, please, I encourage you to donate whatever you can, whenever you can, but keep it in mind. If one day you're thinking to plant seeds and you don't know who or what to help, this is a good project to do. It preserves ancient wisdom in this world, and that seems to be very valuable. So, okay. See you later. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. See you, everybody. Thank you for all the translators and recording.
Translators. Bye-bye.